Time is right now. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 50% higher than in 1900. Global energy consumption increases 2% every single year. On average, an Nordic person consumes 100 times more than an average person in one of the poorest countries in the world. The only way we can solve this is by human action, not by waiting for miracles. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens, work happens, effort happens. We are Dexma. Thank you very much for coming today and joining us by this amazing event that Spacewell put together. And I would like to start with this image. What do you see here? It's not a Picasso, I know we're in a museum, but it's not a Picasso. It's not an art, it's nothing. So for this, I'd like to welcome and enjoy my colleague, Grisel. Colleen?
Hi everyone.
Please help me, what is this?
Can someone from the assembly maybe tell me what it is? Do you know?
New matrix.
Don't be shy. Yes?
New matrix.
Could be, but no. Anyone else? Yeah?
It's a temperature filters.
Correct. Every line that you see here is the average temperature on a yearly basis. And as you may guess, the more blue, the colder, the more red, the warmer. So we can definitely see that the world is warming, and scientists know for a fact that it's caused by human activity. Why? Because they understand how dioxide carbon works in the atmosphere. They've ruled out any other explanations, and the conclusion is that global warming is due to human activity. We're going to see a bit of that today, but also more.
That's correct. As you might be wondering, what are you going to see about Dexma? What do you expect from this presentation? Where briefly we're going to see climate issues we're facing right now, all the buildings, smart buildings, what are the adoptions that they're taking right now, and everything related to the energy. Now we're going to see, after that, the main challenges we see for enterprises in the Nordics after a benchmark we've done from Dexma, and also how Dexma from our side, how can we help all these companies to achieve these challenges, to tackle these challenges, achieve their carbon footprint, and achieve their sustainability targets. After that, we're going to talk about success stories. So, Caroline, all yours.
So a key concept in understanding climate change is carbon footprint. Carbon footprint is the whole amount of greenhouse gases produced to support a person's activity or lifestyle. It's measured in weight of CO2, and it can be associated with any individual, person, organization, events. This event today has a carbon footprint. Me coming here has a carbon footprint. The flight had a carbon footprint of 250 kilograms of CO2, and Danny is probably less because he didn't have a layover. Now, within human activities, we know that some sectors are emitting more CO2 than others, namely transportation, industries, building operations, and construction. At Dexma, together with Spacewell, we aim to make a difference in buildings and constructions. That's targeting a reduction in 39% of the industry that produces more carbon. Achieving zero emission from the existing building stocks will require leveraging building intervention points to accelerate the rate of energy upgrades. That being said, it means energy efficiency. It also means eliminating on-site fossil fuels and generating 100% renewable energy. We do have to understand this trend, but we do also need to understand the global growth. We are growing both economically and demographically, and so are our cities and the number of buildings we need. It's said that the global building floor is expected to double by 2060. To accommodate this largest wave of urban growth in human history, we expect to add 230 billion square meter of floor area to the global building stock. To put it into context, that's the equivalent of adding a city the size of New York City every month for 40 years. Achieving zero emission from new construction will need energy efficiency buildings that do not use fossil fuels and that are 100% powered by and or off-site renewable energy, solar PV, anything is possible. We also need to take into consideration existing buildings. Because in 2040, 2/3 of the existing buildings would be buildings that exist today. We need to improve the way they emit GHGs, and we need to optimize their energy consumption. Once you optimize energy consumption, you can also have a direct impact on your energy bill. And Daniel will explain a bit more on the Swedish and Scandinavian context.
Thank you, Caroline. Well, as you can see in this graph, I put together the Nordic countries, Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. And as we can see, until 2020, energy prices the consumption has decreased a little bit, right? But we can see a huge gap between 2020 and 2030. There is a huge rise up on almost 200% on the consumption of kilowatt hours of energy overall, right? So what can we do? What we do in these 10 years is gonna be a key issue of what's gonna depend until our goals by 2040 and 2050, right? So we have to tackle that immediately. We only have an 8-year gap until 2030. Now, what are the main issues that we see with energy prices across Europe and across the world? Well, we see strikes regarding the high energy consumption. For example, in Spain, growing up almost by 400%. We see also the recovery of the COVID-19, this meaning increasing energy consumption. Now everything, the war in the Ukraine, cutting the pipes, gas pipes in Russia, everything is leading to these strikes and worries about the people. So what are the main challenges we've seen from Dexma in this market, in this industry, right? So for enterprises right now, especially in the Nordics, we see that main challenge would be achieving SDGs goals and comply with the legislation that governments have, Norwegian government, Swedish government, etc. Also understanding energy consumption. So many of the companies and enterprises, they have a huge energy consumption, but they don't understand it. They don't know where to start to understand it, right? And also, overall, the end goal is to reduce the energy bills. And therefore, to use that reduction, that savings, and put that money to some other department, for example, marketing budget, human resources budget, etc. And of course, increasing competitiveness. We've seen this a lot in banks and in hotels. As soon as a hotel comes to us, let's say, for example, Radisson Blu, other hotels like Melia or many other hotels comes to us because this increased competitiveness. Now, other challenges we've seen is the more data we get, the less you analyze. It's like Google. It's like websites. The more information we have, the less information we know. The less information we can proceed. Then also, the energy management process is not automatic, right? You don't need to have a lot of people taking to look at this every single time of the year. And therefore, the team has no time to analyze data in detail. Of course, you're not going to be every single time, every single hour of the day, taking a look at all the data that we're going to analyze for you. Now, how Dexma can solve all of this for you? So we call this the energy intelligence journey, right? So we start with detect, we go to analyze and optimize. Detect pretty much is like a blood work. When you're feeling bad, you don't know how you're feeling bad, so the doctor prescribes you a blood work, right? You go to the infirmary, they get the blood work for you done, and then you see all the parameters. You see the cholesterol, you see everything. Well, this is pretty much detect. Detect is going to take you all the portfolio, all the buildings that you get, 150, 200 buildings, 500 buildings, it doesn't matter the amount of buildings that you have. It's going to analyze it, it's going to see which ones are the most sustainable ones and which ones are the least sustainable ones. Where to start with, which building we should start analyzing first, which building should we monitor the least, the last one. Also, it's going to compare how is your building, how healthy is your building in comparison with that same building in our portfolio. Let's say you get a bank, Swedbank, for example, here. Let's compare Swedbank with La Caixa, biggest bank in Spain, or Santander that we got this, right? What did they do in order to achieve their sustainability goals, and what did they do to reduce their energy consumption? The main benefit of this would be preventing on-site energy audits. Then we got Analyze, which is our most used, let's say, product in our software. Is real-time energy consumption analytics. It's gonna measure, it's gonna monitor, it's gonna show you every single dashboard, reports. It's gonna create a baseline calculator, and also it's gonna show you the forecast of your energy consumption tomorrow, next week, or the next month. So you're always prepared. It's also going to show you how far you are from achieving your saving cost. Let's say if you have a 20% saving cost per year, it's going to show you how far you are from achieving that, what you should do in order to achieve that. And then optimize, it's our artificial intelligence anomaly detector. This is basically going to tell you where is the overconsumption or the underconsumption, right? It's going to tell you exactly the consumption in kilowatt hours. It's going to tell you the impact economically regarding Swedish crowns or euros, the impact of that, and also the time that happened and the window of time that happened, right? So you don't have to be taking a look at this software every time. It's going to pop up on your email, on the website, the app. Hey, what's going on? What's going wrong? And this is what happened this time in the building. Now, what are the unique selling points of Dexma? First of all, we're cloud-based. We're cloud-based in the Google Cloud in Europe and also backed up with Amazon Cloud. Also, we're hardware agnostic. We don't marry with any single hardware brand in Europe. We do work with major brands, but we give the freedom to the client to choose, right? But we do also help the client in order to with their hardware issues that I'll explain later. Also, we do have an open API. If you wonder how you can start sending Dexma the data from your meters, from these meters, we do have an open API through which you can send the data to us immediately. And of course, we are artificial intelligence driven. Everything, like, is centralizing all the data that you have, all the energy data, into one single screen. You can see in one single screen what you're consuming today and what you're pretending to consume tomorrow, right? And also, it's widely used in the European Union. Hotels, bank, real estate, retail, supermarkets, etc. Now, I want to mention a quote from Leo Tolstoy. He was a writer. He was one of the greatest authors of all time, at least for me. He received nominations for the Nobel Prize literature, especially in 1902, 1903, 06, etc. He said that one of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between nature and man shall not be broken. Now, what would you ask me, Daniel, what's the link between this and Dexma? Well, first of all, we have to take care of nature. And how do we take care of them? Well, by analyzing what's going on and what methods and procedures we have to take in order for that. Right, so we have Analyze, which is one of the main products, let's say, of our software, right? It's a real-time analysis and savings verifications, as I mentioned before. For this, you'll need, of course, it's going to gather the data from the meter, so meters, smart meters, gateways, data loggers that you already, or your facilities, or your building is going to have already installed. Now, this is an example on how the platform looks like, right? You're going to be able to see the carbon emissions that you're going to have, the purity of the air, the quality of the air, etc. We also can measure the electricity that you're consuming depending on the occupancy that is happening right now in your facility. For example, we do have an apps market, and that apps market involves an app called occupancy, right? So it's going to take that into account. So it's a real-time monitoring platform, right? It's going to help you, but also your employees and either your customers to be more competitive and understand their performance across the time. Also, it's going to include a complete toolbox for advanced analytics and metrics, right? With more than 50 different analytics and windows within the software. And of course, you're going to be able to measure and verify the achieved savings that you have so far with the investment that you've done, right? Now, which are the key analytics capabilities that we have? Well, you're going to be able to see multi-purpose hierarchies across the map, right? Which are the most sustainable ones, the least sustainable ones, which one has the most square meters, etc. Also, you're going to be able to be certified ISO 50001. Also, it's going to be able to show you all the advanced analytics in one single screen with simple data insertion and configuration. You just need to have the hardware with the fiscal meter, for example, that you need to pay your monthly bills for the utility bills. With that, we're also going to be able to receive the data already. Then it's going to be real-time alerts. If there is any alerts, there is any problem, if you set an alert like, let me know if you overconsume over 100 kilowatts at this exact time or this exact room. That's going to happen with the software. And also, you're going to have infinite dashboards and custom reports for you. You don't need to learn and read every single analytics and dashboards, right? It all comes to the report, monthly report or bi-weekly report. You show that to the energy manager that you have or to the CFO to take a look at the finances, and that's pretty much all. Now, what's the value proposition from Dexma Analyze? Mainly, it's going to be the entire portfolio, centralizing the entire portfolio and seeing that the performance in real time. It's going to increase market competitiveness. I'm serious about this. As soon as you get the software, we've seen it from its point of view, especially in the hotels. It's going to be a matter of time that a competition of that exact industry is going to come to you and say, hey, we also want this. Therefore, the third one would be, you're going to be able to see whether the investment were worth it, right? You're going to be able to see if you're going to need renewable energy, solar panels, EV chargers. You're also going to see the energy conservation measure, etc., right? You're also going to be able to see, if, for example, in Detect, with that the money that you're going to save with the investment that you've done, right? So it's pretty much the ROI within the same platform. Now let's jump into the next quote from Mahatma Gandhi. I'm pretty sure you all will know about him. He's an Indian lawyer and colonial nationalist when Great Britain was colonizing India. He said that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. I like to link this with Optimize, which is our artificial energy data-driven, right? This is going to tell you, hey, you're consuming too much, don't be greedy, this is what you need, this is the exact amount of energy you need right now. Why would you need more, or why would you consume more and therefore pay more, right? So Optimize is going to tell you, is going to discover for you anomalies to boost the energy savings, right? If it's going to be working 24/7 of working hours and non-working hours, which means if you leave on a weekend and there's something going on a Sunday night, it's going to tell you, to the responsible and the person behind this software within the company, what's going on and what was the impact. So you can expect that impact on the balance sheet at the end of the month. Now this is how it will look, right? You can see there, it's going to show you every single anomaly, how many anomalies there are per day. For example, 3 new anomalies, the impact of those anomalies, as you can see there on the graph, on the red part, it's going to show you the exact moment that happened the anomaly, the impact that it has, and also the impact that it has in kilowatt hours and the duration that it has. Now, this is going to be able to show you and focus on the decisions that you need to make. It's also going to tell you that, for example, air conditioning hardware is malfunctioning and you need to replace it for a new one, and you probably didn't notice, and you've been using the same brand for 20 years. Now, what's the value proposition from Optimize? First of all, 24/7 surveillance service, right, from the energy meters. You don't have to be paying attention to that. This will do it for you. Secondly, you're going to be able to prioritize anomalies based on the business impact that anomaly is going to have, depending on the cost, the kilowatt hours, etc., depending on the section that anomaly happened. Also, it's going to help you to, the overall goal of this is to reduce your energy bill. Now, let's say, for example, Danny, you're talking a lot about hardware, meters. I'm getting scared about that. Well, we do work with different partners across the Nordics, across Europe. If you don't have the hardware to gather the data, you don't need to worry about that. We can help you, not only in the implementation, but also after that implementation, right? We do everything regarding, let's say you got 100 facilities, 150 facilities, and you don't have the hardware. Danny, I cannot measure energy because I'm missing the temperature hardware, I'm missing the humidity hardware, etc. Don't worry, we'll find the provider for you, we put it all together for you, and within a month, you'll have it all settled and already gathering data. This is how it will be the final of the partner. We'll work on the project preparation, the implementation of the software, the delivery, the engineering, the training, etc. The only thing you have to worry about is to enjoy the delivery of the software and taking the onboarding training, which doesn't take more than a whole week, even less, depending on the magnitude of the project. So I'm pretty sure I'm talking a lot, but you want to hear about what happened, who uses Dexma right now, what are the successes, and more than talking about successes, our successes, I want to talk about our clients' successes. Let's start first of all with Radisson Blu. Pretty sure you already know this hotel. There's one here in the waterfront. I'm pretty sure you all like numbers, would like to hear numbers, so let's go with percentages at first. Radisson Blu saved 41% in gas consumption. Let's take a look at Radisson Blu. This is one of the main hotels that happened in the UK. They're reflected as BREEAM certificate, which is actually a certification that the UK government access and grants to those green hotels. And Radisson Blu wasn't a green hotel at all. They were consuming at all. they were consuming a lot of kilowatt hours. So they achieved 41% on gas reduction with Dexma and 17% reduction in energy, which therefore ended up in achieving 30% overall kilowatt hour reduction in a year. Now let's talk more deeply about numbers. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear about percentages, but you want to hear about money, right? That's the end goal about. Let's talk about the Spanish government, specifically about the defense part of the Spanish government. We gathered their buildings across Spain. They saved 22% total with this project right now, with Dexma achieved in the whole buildings 22%. What was the total amount of that? 1.5 billion, right? From all the buildings they have across Spain. Now let's talk a bit more. We have percentages, we have money-wise euros. Let's talk about the ROI, right? The return of investment. What do I have to put in here in order to get like savings for me? Now let's talk about Burger King. Let's take into account one of the locations of Burger King in Spain, the north in Avila. How much they consolidated in savings? 17%, right? In one single location, they invested 2,000 euros and they achieved savings what I'll say later, they achieved savings of almost double, well, more than double, 5,500. Now, how much time did they achieve those savings from getting the hardware, from installing the hardware, from getting data, from starting to see the data? 4.5 months. You don't need a year, you don't need 2 years. In 4.5 months, from the fourth month, you can start getting your return on investment. So I want to do a little activity. I want everyone to pull their phones up, and I want everyone to scan this code. Don't be shy, please. So with this code, our marketing team will have already work to do, just for you to check what we do in real time and what we do, and what your company could benefit from next.